Hello everyone, it's Robin here, and oh my gosh, I am so excited because I'm going to be a part of the Murder She Read Readathon in March, and I'm just so jazzed about that because today I am going to let you know which books I'll be reading for the readathon. Yes, okay, so the Murder She Read Readathon is based on the popular TV series Murder She Wrote. Oh my gosh, so many seasons, so much fun, so much cozy mystery mayhem going on. Loving rewatching it is because that's what I've been doing this past week. But this fun readathon was put together by some of my fabulous bookish friends, and we have Abby from the Disney Sisters, we have Heather from the Disney Housewife, and Nina from Wrestling with Books. Well, they got together because, you know, they are all into watching Murder She Wrote and thought it would be fun to put together a readathon creating your own Murder She Wrote series, or show rather, storyline. So I think the idea is genius. So before we get into the books I'll be reading, let me share with you some of the prompts that you have. Now, one thing I love about this readathon is that it is not the least bit intimidating because it is very customizable, and you can choose to pick as many or as few books as you want to read to fill in the categories. So I love that about it. I have been pushing my reading this past year, and I'm having so much fun this year with it, but for me to read like 20 books, that's just not going to happen in a month. But I'm really excited because I have 4 here that I'll be reading, and so far that'll be a record-breaking month for me. So we have 4 books because there are 4 different parts to your Murder She Read storyline, and the first is the setting. The second is, well, we need a sidekick. The third is, you can't have a murder mystery without a victim, and the fourth is, of course, we need a suspect. So out of these 4 categories, there are between 4 and 6 different prompts that you can use to select books that fill in these storylines, and you know, to create your own story, which I think is brilliant. So let me go ahead and go over those with you, and then we'll get to the books that I'll be reading. I have my notebook here so that I can stay on track, because I want to make sure I get all these prompts out to you correctly. So if you want to join in and create an episode of your own, you can. So every great episode of Murder She Wrote has a setting, of course. Obviously, we need a setting for a good mystery, and our episode needs a setting too. So the setting category has 4 different prompts, and the first one is Cabot Cove. Well, that's where Murder She Wrote takes place. That's where Jessica Fletcher lives. So if you choose Cabot Cove as the setting for your episode, then you will choose a book that takes place in a small town. See where we're going with this? Pretty cool, right? New York. Another great setting. Jessica goes to New York quite a bit. I think she went like in the first or second episode of the entire series. So if you choose New York as your setting, then pick a book that takes place in a big city. Oh, fun, right? Ireland. Oh my gosh. Oh. Now, I've been to Scotland, but I haven't been to Ireland. But Jessica Fletcher goes, and I can't wait to get to those episodes for sure. So if you choose Ireland, well, then you will choose a book that takes place in an international setting, which is really fun, right? Yeah, I love all the international books. And last but not least, Los Angeles, another great place. Jessica Fletcher goes. There's a lot of Hollywood action going on there. A lot of murder mayhem going on in Hollywood, I think. So if you pick Los Angeles, then you will choose a book that takes place in a fantasy or a fictitious world. So yeah, so far, so good, right? Okay, let's get to our next category. Our next category involves sidekicks. Jessica Fletcher doesn't do all this on her own. She always has someone hanging with her. She needs to bounce things back and forth and talk to them, and a lot of times they get in the way because she's the one who knows the mystery. But we do have some sidekicks here, and these are some great characters that have been playing alongside Jessica Fletcher throughout her Murder She Wrote career here. So we have Seth, and if you pick Seth, then you will pick a book that has been recommended by a friend. Next we have Amos. Oh, Sheriff Amos. So if you pick Sheriff Amos, then you will pick a book that makes you laugh. So that could be fun, right? Grady, oh my gosh, Grady, Jessica's nephew. If you pick Grady, then you will pick a romance book. If you pick Mort, you will pick a book that's in a series. If you pick Dennis, you will pick a classic. That's pretty cool, right? A classic. And if you pick Harry, you will pick a book that features a detective. Oh, so much fun sidekicks going on. Let's pick our next category, which is the victim. Our victim category has 6 different prompts in them, and they're really fun because each one of them is an episode for sure. For sure. So our first episode, if you want your episode to be about a wealthy businessman with a greedy family, then read a book that's set near water. Oh, so that sounds like fun, right? If you want your episode to be about a reporter that's in over their head, then read a book that's about a newspaper or a reporter. If your episode is about a producer who needs to cut out cast members, then you'll read a book that's about TV or a movie. There's a lot of options in that one. If your episode is about a maid who overheard things, then pick a book that takes place in a mansion or a hotel. If your episode is about a politician with an unpopular idea, well, then pick a book that has mixed reviews. Oh, that one would be really good. I like that one a lot. If your episode is about a professor who is notorious for giving out bad grades, then pick a book that's set in a school. So these prompts are really fun, and that will be the victim. So we just have one category left because we have a setting. We have our sidekick. We have a victim. What do we need next? A suspect, and we have them right here. So our suspect category has 6 different prompts. So if your suspect is Jessica's niece or nephew, which about 80% of the time it is, then pick a book that is about family relationships. Oh, that sounds like fun, right? That sounds like fun. If your suspect is a business partner, then read a book that is by more than one author. Oh, that would be fun too. I can think of quite a few books for that one. If your suspect is the new girl in town, pick a book about a character who has just moved in. Yeah, there's a lot of books going on like that too. If your episode is about an undercover spy, then read a book that has a hidden identity. Oh, that's always fun. That's always fun. I think I just read like a Holiday Swap. That's definitely a good one, right? So if your episode's about a crooked cop, well, read a book that's a mystery. See, that would be perfect for this readathon. Perfect. And last but certainly not least, if your book is about an up-and-coming actress, read a debut book. Oh my gosh, these all sound like so much fun. And it was fun putting my episode together. Fun, you know, there was so many books because you can pick books that fit multiple categories, which is nice because by the end of the month, if you're not quite making your goals, you can still fill out an episode most likely with 1 or 2 books for sure, because some will fit multiple categories. Don't overthink it. I overthought it a little bit because I was really trying to hone in my episode. I don't usually pick my books at the beginning of the month of what I'm going to read, so I'm a little nervous about that. But I've chosen my books, I have my episode out, and now I'm gonna let you know what we'll be doing. A little ambiance never hurts. Picture this, an Irish neighborhood in Los Angeles, 2022. Jessica Fletcher and her nephew Grady have traveled to Los Angeles for some much needed rest and relaxation, but their travels are cut short because they have stumbled across the murder of a maid in their hotel. But what happened? Well, it appears that this maid is not so innocent after all, because she was in a side hustle of not the legal type in this hotel, and she may have overheard some things that she shouldn't have. And we know this because our prime suspect is the concierge, who is her business partner. That sounds like such a great episode, and I'm equally excited to share the 4 books that I chose to make my episode come to life. So, let's think through this. Let's remember what went on. So my setting took place in an Irish neighborhood in Los Angeles. Well, Los Angeles means a fictitious and fantasy world, and Ireland means international. So my first book has maybe a little bit of both. We have a little London-esque fictitious world because I am reading the first book of Harry Potter. Yes! Oh my gosh, I am so excited about this. This will be my first time reading Harry Potter. Of course, I've seen all the movies. I know all the stories, but I have not read the books. But I have this beautiful, beautiful illustrated version of this book, and I cannot wait to read it. So it is officially Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, written by J.K. Rowling, and it is illustrated by Jim Kay. These illustrations are fabulous. So Jim Kay illustrated the first 4 of books in the Harry Potter series. I have all 4. Beautiful, just beautiful. And I really want to read the entire series. So it's time we get started. So we are set in an international, a London-esque world, but that's a little fantasy and fictitious. So is a little LA too. Let me show you. See, look at this. Look at the birds in that. Oh, so pretty. Let me show you some of these illustrations here. I just pulled this one out. I wanted to show you because here we have Harry, and there's the sorting hat. Oh my gosh, so gorgeous. So gorgeous. So yeah, I think this is going to be a really fun read, and I'm really excited to start reading Harry Potter. Okay, so if you don't know what Harry Potter's about, well, I'm going to give you just a little brief deal here in the beginning. Harry Potter has never been the star of a Quidditch team. He knows no spells, he has never helped hatch a dragon, and he has never worn a cloak of invisibility. All he knows is his miserable life with his aunt and uncle and their abominable son, Dudley. But all that is about to change when a mysterious letter arrives by Owl Messenger, which sends Harry out of the land of the Muggles and into Hogwarts, the School of Wizardry. Yes! Okay, so I'm super jazzed about this, and this will take place for the setting of my episode. Okay, we're off to a great start, right? Okay, so next is our sidekick. So Jessica has a ton of friends in Cabot Cove and family, and our sidekick was her nephew Grady. And Grady, kind of unlucky in love, but we are reading a book about romance. Now, I find this choice a little odd for me, only because I love romance novels, and it would be a no-brainer for me to pick a romantic comedy. They're literally my favorite genre to read. However, I need to fit this book in here because it is haunting me. I just picked it up. It is a romantic thriller by Colleen Hoover, and it is Verity. Oh. This is getting quite the buzz these days, and I picked this up when we were in Sam's Club the other day, and I'm like, I just want to read it. I want to read this book. Now, some of my friends have read this book. Michelle and Donna, the Daunties, have read this book. I think Lindsay B has read this book, and they loved it. So I'm excited. I hear things about it that it's twisted and weird and creepy and all of those things. So all those things that a romance isn't, for me at least, but I needed to fit this in. So this is by Colleen Hoover. She writes romance novels. So when she made this twisty dark one, I don't know. I think people are like, what? So I'm excited to read it. So this is about Loan Ashley. She's a struggling writer on the brink of financial ruin when she accepts the job offer of a lifetime. Jeremy Crawford, husband of best-selling author Verity Crawford, see, Verity is a person, has hired Loan to complete the remaining books in a successful series that his injured wife is unable to finish. I think she's catatonic, and there's some creepy things that happen, and something about when Loan goes there, she's trying to look through all the papers so she can finish this. So she's looking through private papers and diaries of Verity, and she comes up with all kinds of writings and stories of things that where we started hearing about the twisted stuff. So I don't know what happens, but I'm really excited to find out. So yes, so this is my romance novel. As dark as it's going to be. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Ah! Okay, I'm out of breath. So we have our victim next, and our victim is our maid. So read a book that takes place in a mansion or hotel. Well, You just saw this come up in my recent Book of the Month haul, and we will be reading Last Summer at the Golden Hotel by Elisa Friedland, and I'm super excited. So this is obviously a hotel, and it takes place in the Catskills. So I'm really jazzed about that. As I mentioned in my haul video, I will link that down below for you too, because it just happened on Tuesday. I love the show, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and my favorite parts of that show is when her family were in the Catskills. Just that entire series of episodes, just love them so much. So I'm hoping this gives me some of those vibes for sure. So this is a family reunion in the Catskills that brings hilarity and nostalgia when the two clans convene for the summer of their beloved getaway. But the hotel is going downhill, and so there's mayhem and family drama, and it says hilarity, so there should be some fun happening, and all the while we are camping it up in the Catskills. And I'm pretty excited about this book. Pretty excited indeed. So yeah, this will be a fun read. Okay, so our episode's going along just fine. Our poor maid, who is, you know, dead, but our prime suspect is her business partner. And, you know, our maid was into some stuff, and so she's not so innocent, but she did overhear things. Her business partner did it. So what is our business partner? Well, we need to read a book that is written by more than one author. And I have the perfect book because I've been just dying to read this, and it is Whispers from Before, and I'm excited to read this. It is a collection of 5 short stories written by both debut authors and people who have also written a book before. So what is the word for that? Not debut authors. But I'm really jazzed about this because one of the stories in here is written by our own Abby from the Disney Sisters. Yes, and this book just came out in November, and I'm really excited to read it. So it is Tales of Myth and Legend, and Abby's story is, I think she's the 3rd story in here, The Break River Banshee. So we're gonna take some myths and legends and we're retweaking it into short stories. So I'm pretty excited about this. So let me tell you the stories that will be in this book. And I think this book will help a lot in the readathon for me, not just because I really want to read it, but I think the type of book will help because I can read the stories in between maybe some of the other books. And because I have never read 4 books in a month. So we're gonna see how this works. But let's see, I'm trying to find the beginning where it tells me the Gumaho of Dragon River by Rosie Grimm. I hope I said that right. Gumaho? Okay, well that's a myth and legend. So that's the first tale. The second is Of Underwoods and Underworlds by Hannah Carter. Nice. Our third story is The Break River Banshee by Abigail McKenna. Nice. Oh, so excited about this. Takes place in 1874, Arizona territory. So Rod and I, we play games every week with Holly and Dan after Aiden goes to bed. And we were playing this game called Horrified, and it was all American monsters. And this banshee was just giving us a hard time in this game. So I was thinking about that when I was thinking about this book when I was playing that game. So I can't wait. Oh my gosh, this is Namakoa Kohai's Treasure by Mariella Taylor. Nice. And there should be, is there one more? When the Night Left by Savannah Roberts. So yeah, I'm really excited about this book and excited to read these stories and excited to read Abby's story too, for sure. So yeah, it's really great when you get published. Plus, isn't the cover just fabulous? So those are my books for my episodes, and I'm really excited about this stack that I have going on here. Oh my gosh, for sure. It should be a lot of fun. Now, this readathon takes place between March 1st and March 31st, so that's 31 days of reading fun. And I will link videos down below that Abby from Disney Sisters made, as well as Nina from Wrestling with Books and Heather from the Disney Housewife. I know this week they'll be putting up videos of their books that they're choosing for this readathon too, so I'm excited to look at those. And I'm excited to see how my episode plays out. So does this sound like a readathon for you? Because it does for me, that's for sure. And if you choose to go along this readathon, please use the hashtag Murder She Read whenever you post anything so that we can all see what everybody's up to. Because part of the fun about this readathon is that it's not necessarily about let me get all these books read, but about the connections we're making with each other as we're doing something common together. I love that. I absolutely love that. I mean, you know, the world is just a crazy place, and doing something fun together absolutely has to happen. So my episode is here going on. Let me ask you this question. What does your episode look like? Let me know in the comments below because I would love to hear from you. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I will be checking with you throughout the month on my readathon for sure. But I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! So many fun. Oh yeah, this Banshee. Gonna give us some trouble for sure.